Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I'm so happy to be back on the Reverse Confetti YouTube channel with another Christmas card. I thought I wasn't going to make another Christmas card till December, but here we are. I was really inspired by the Poinsettia stamp set from Reverse Confetti, and I really wanted to make an ornament with this. I know Reverse Confetti has a beautiful ornament die from last year. It's one of the first products I worked with, I think, and I really loved it. So I really wanted to revisit that this year, and I thought this Poinsettia stamp set was perfect for it. So I'm stamping this holly branch twice on Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM cardstock, and I am going to color this very quickly with my Ohuhu markers. I didn't take a lot of care coloring this. It's a very simple image and it's very bold. The lines are a little bit thicker than usual. I really like that for these large floral images. It just works for some reason. And I do make sure that the berries are a little bit lighter than I would usually color them. Usually I would go for a very deep and saturated red, and this is very bright. Again, not what I usually would color them, but there's a reason. I'm going to have a very deep dark red background, and I want these to stand apart from that background a little bit, so that's why I'm coloring these a little bit lighter. Now, once these are all colored, you know the drill. I like an embossed outline, so I'm going to put these back in my stamp positioning tool, my Misti, where I have left the stamp in place. So it's very easy to stamp this again with Versafine Onyx black ink. I say it's very easy, but my paper was actually not completely straight on one of the edges. So the stamping on this one is a little bit crooked. So I'm going to adjust my paper, stamp it again. The line is going to end up a little bit bolder than the other one. It's not going to be very noticeable, but you're not going to see that it's stamped a little bit wrong from the previous outline, and that's what matters most. I'm going to sprinkle on some clear embossing powder from Wow and heat setting that, and that's pretty much it for these images. Now I am going to die cut these with the coordinating die, but as I said, these are going to be put onto a dark red background, and I don't want that white outline on the dark red background. This is the ornament die I'm going to be using, and that's what you saw cut out there. I have a gold outline and a red inner piece. And to make this blend in with the red a little bit more, I'm going to go over this with a Ohuhu marker that matches my paper pretty closely. This is a very close match, closer than I thought I would get. And I did actually search my markers and papers. I have all my markers swatched out, so this was easy. I purposely took a red paper that closely matched one of my markers. And that helped a lot. So I'm just going around the outline here, and that is going to make a world of a difference when I put my ornament together. I even go around the very edges, so the cut edges, to make sure none of the white shows. And then I'm just going to adhere these down on the center of that ornament die cut. I am going to cut this apart so I can really stretch these two holly branches to fill the entire ornament. It's just going to fill it up a little bit better, and I only had to color 2 images. Again, the coloring was really quick. Overall, this was a very quick card to put together. I think I spent 40 minutes on it, which is not a long time. For me at least, I can spend hours on a card, so this was a very quick one to make. I'm just gluing these down with Barely Art Precision Craft glue, and once that's all done, I just trim around the edges with my scissors, and then I can adhere this down onto 3 layers of thick white cardstock. So I cut the ornament 3 times out of thick white cardstock already, so I can build up some dimension. And I'm also adding the frame of the ornament die, so you can easily turn this into a shaker. I really love this die. And I cut that frame out of gold glitter cardstock, and I layered that on top as well. For my background, I used the Brilliance cover panel die. It's not actually in stock right now. I forgot to check before I made this card. So I'm also going to list the all lined up cover panel, which I think is a great alternative for this one, for this card design. So if you have that, or if you want to buy that, I think that would work really well. I'm going to list that in the description as well. I added some dark red ink and some black ink around the edges to really darken those up, and that will draw the eye to the center where the ornament will be. Now, to figure out a sentiment to add to this, all of these work thematically. They're all Christmas sentiments, but I usually go off the length of my sentiment and how it fits on my design. So that's why you saw me use the Christmas card greeting stamp set and just check which one fit best over my ornament. I'm using the Jingle All the Way, and I'm stamping that in Versamark embossing ink onto gold cardstock. This is one of those satin finishes, a cardstock with a satin finish, and I really like those. They are very easy to emboss. You just have to make sure your heat gun is very hot before you bring it to the cardstock, and you don't want to leave it on too long. So just treat it as if you're embossing on vellum or on heat-resistant acetate. It's doable, you just have to be a little bit more careful. It's actually really easy. It's easier to emboss on this cardstock than it is on acetate or vellum. But yeah, that's how I always treat this. Now I am just gluing this down right in the center, and it's actually really easy to line that up with the center. The Brilliance cover panel comes with some lines down the center, so it's really easy to line the ornament die up with those. Then I'm prepping the sentiment up on some foam tape, and I'm just cutting that to size to fit right behind the sentiment, making sure everything behind the sentiment is foam tape, because if I put this through the mail, I don't want my sentiment to be all crooked and bended, and it would be not pretty. So I'm making sure it's all foam tape behind there, there's no open areas, and that will make it very sturdy to go through the mail. And that is pretty much my card finished. All that's left to do is add some embellishments. These are from Pink Fresh Studio. They're just some gold pearls, and I'll try to list those in the description below as well. I really like how this card turned out. I especially like that I took the 20 extra seconds or so to add some dark red coloring to the die cut images. That really makes a lot of difference on this dark background. You can do this with any sort of dark background. If you want to add die cut images on top of that, if you've stamped them before, there's always going to be a white outline, and it's really easy to make that disappear with a alcohol marker that matches your cardstock closely. And it doesn't even have to be a perfect match. It's just not going to be white, and that is already going to make a world of a difference. I hope you like the card, and I hope you like the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.